What is up, everybody? Back with my top 10 bands to start with the letter C. I started this up a little while back. I've done A and B so far. If you want to check those out, I'll try to go all the way to Z, just giving my 10 favorite bands with, or starting with each letter of the alphabet here. But C, a lot of good bands, of course, but these are just my 10 favorites as usual. Number 10, I'm going to start with Children of Bodom. Really great band. They're from Finland. Had a lot of really good stuff when they were together. Of course, Alexi Leho passed away. R.I.P. to him. He was way too young, but he was an amazing musician, great songwriter. Rup Latvala, one of their longtime guitarists, alongside of him was just an absolutely amazing duo. These guys, top-tier shredders, great rhythm players as well. Some of their albums, I mean, of course, Something Wild, the debut, is really great. Hatebreeder, which is maybe my favorite. Hate Crew, Death Roll, Follow the Reaper. Their album artwork was absolutely beautiful as well, and just really cool band. Don't listen to them quite as much as I used to, but they had a really unique style, good blend of the symphonic elements with, you know, melodic death metal and like some tiny tints of black metal very early on, but really cool band, unique sound. Number 10, got to make the list. Number 9, I got Carcass. Cool band. I don't really love their first couple of albums, the grindcore type of stuff. Just not really my style. But then eventually when they got to Heartwork, that is absolutely amazing. Just top tier melodic death metal, very technical. Bill Steer, Michael Amott, amazing guitar duo. Just top tier players, some of the best ever. And, you know, Jeff Walker's voice, really cool, very evil. Of course, when they came back in 2013 or whatever it was Surgical Steel as well. That's a fantastic album too. Definitely those two are my favorites. I saw Carcass I saw them twice last year, and amazing shows both times. I think Psycho Las Vegas and at Maryland Death Fest. I think they're coming through my area pretty soon here. I don't know if I'm going to go again. I mean, I've seen them twice in the last year, but awesome band. At number 9. Number 8, I'm going to go with Celtic Frost. I'm kind of having like a recent newfound appreciation for them, of course, with having seen them at Hell's Heroes, or didn't see them, but I saw Triptychon, Tom G. Warrior playing the early Celtic Frost set, and that was absolutely amazing. You know, To Megatherion, amazing album, Morbid Tales. Just the early stuff is fantastic. I even slightly kind of like Cold Lake, and I really like it, but, you know, I don't mind it as much as some people. Of course, they were trying to go a little bit glam there, obviously. I don't mind the glam. Love the black metal, you know, early thrash, early first wave black metal stuff. You know, Celtic Frost, of course, pioneers in that subgenre, very influential band. Got to be on the list. Number 7, I'm going to go with Carpathian Forest. I'm a big second wave black metal guy. They're in that movement, formed in 1992 in Norway. I'm going to see them in Finland coming up. Looking forward to that a lot at Steelfest. But they got a lot of cool stuff, very raw, dirty, evil-sounding black metal. Through Chasms, Caves, and Titanwoods, amazing EP from 1995. Of course, Strange Old Brew, Black Shining Leather. They got a lot of great stuff. Really cool band. At number 6, I'm going to go with Crimson Glory. They've only got a couple of albums that I like, but I freaking love them. The first two, Self-Titled and Transcendence, dude. These albums are insane. You got Midnight on vocals, who put him against any high screamers in metal, and he's pretty much right on par with them. Just absolutely ridiculous high screams. You listen to Mayday, he's just hitting them over and over and over again. Getting way up there, like King Diamond level high screams, which are fantastic. And the guitar playing is just amazing as well. They had a really interesting look, wore these like weird masks and stuff. But those first two albums, absolute classics. Don't really love the two after that too much. I mean, there's some pretty good stuff on it here and there, but they only had 4 albums. First two is where I usually stick with Crimson Glory. Number 5, I'm going to go with Cinderella. I got them on my shirt here, Night Songs, the album from 1986, their debut, absolutely fantastic. One of the greatest glam metal albums of all time. You got Tom Kiefer, who just fantastic musician. This guy can pretty much do it all. He plays guitar, writes the songs, has an amazing voice, does some piano. I think he plays like saxophone and a bunch of other different instruments. The guy is just very talented and really awesome songwriter, especially on the first 2 albums. I'm a huge fan of Long Cold Winter as well. The next 2, pretty good, not quite as good, but the first 2, stone cold classics in the 80s hard rock and, you know, glam metal subgenre there that came up in the 80s, and Cinderella was one of the frontrunners of that. So I've seen Tom Kiefer solo a couple of times, never saw Cinderella, but Tom always puts on a really good show. I think he's coming back through pretty soon, so I'll probably go again. But I saw him last year with LA Guns and Faster Pussycat. Really good show. If you ever get a chance to see Tom, please do it because he is still great. Number 4, I'm going to go with Coroner. Really great kind of technical thrash band from Switzerland. These guys are absolutely amazing. Tommy T. Barron on guitar is just an absolute wizard. Pretty much all of their albums up to Grim I really like. You know, R.I.P., Punishment for Decadence, No More Color, Semtex Revolution. It's just an absolutely amazing song. It's on Mental Vortex in 1991, but just awesome riff. Love the rhythm of that song. That's maybe my favorite. Masked Jackal is another really great song with just a ridiculous solo from Tommy. The guy, again, is just an absolutely top-tier player. I saw them at Maryland Death Fest last year, and it was a great show. And a little fun fact about that one, that was, for the longest time, I never wore any sort of like earplugs or anything, and then for quite a while, I was having some ear issues, like they were hurting and shit a lot, especially after concerts. They'd be ringing for like days, so I'm like, screw it. I'm putting in these little earplugs I decided to bring just in case, and honestly, it made the show a lot more enjoyable. I always used to make fun of people for wearing them. I'm like, look at this bitch, but no, that's me. So I wear them pretty much at every single show since, and it feels a lot better, and it's more enjoyable, and your ears aren't ringing and shit after, but Corner was amazing live, and they're an amazing studio band. First 4 albums are all fantastic, and Grim is, you know, it's okay, but don't really love it too much. They got a little bit experimental on that one and stuff, just not quite my style. But number 3, this one, not a big discography with this band, but I'm going Cacophony. It was a freaking shred machine band with Jason Becker and Marty Friedman. Those are literally like best shredders, fastest, best guitar players. You know, they come out of the 80s. There's some of them. Of course, Paul Gilbert in that conversation and a couple other guys. But, man, Jason Becker and Marty Friedman, just 2 of the best ever. These 2 albums they had, we had Speed Metal Symphony, which is like one of the best shred albums ever. Concerto, that song just is so beautiful. It brings a tear to my eye. Just absolutely majestic, the way they're playing together on that. The second album is called Go Off. It's not quite as good, but like Sword of the Warrior has just some ridiculous shredding and like really fast playing, like thrashy moments on it. And, you know, both albums I really dig a lot, especially that first one, Speed Metal Symphony, and that's just absolutely just an awesome name for an album too, and it's great from top to bottom. So I had to put them up pretty high here. You know, I don't think too many people would have them this high, especially with the small body of work, but I love them, so they're going at number 3 for me. Number 2, I got Chastain. Love this band, especially the first 5 albums when Leather Leone was in the band. And of course, David T. Chastain is one of the all-time great underrated guitar players. You know, looking at these albums, Mystery of Illusion, Ruler of the Wasteland, The Seventh of Never, The Voice of the Cult, just that song and album is amazing. And For Those Who Dare, you know, that title track has a really cool music video. But, man, David, great guitar player. And Chastain overall is, if you don't know them, I've talked about them a lot, but they are like classic U.S. power metal, some speed metal mixed in there, just great classic traditional metal, all blended together. And Leather is pretty much the female version of Ronnie James Dio, has same kind of vocal delivery, draws her notes out like Ronnie did, sounds kind of like him, and just has a really great, powerful voice. And number 1 for me, it's got to be Cradle of Filth. I love Cradle. You know, most of their albums are great. Principle of Evil Made Flesh, Dusk and Her Embrace, Cruelty and the Beast. Some great EPs, Midian's amazing, and they're kind of the band that was a little bit of a gateway band for me to get like really into black metal. The 90s stuff, you know, it's definitely more towards black metal. I don't know if I would really call it like pure, I wouldn't call it pure straight up black metal. It's got a lot of elements of, you know, the gothic stuff, some symphonic stuff. They got a really cool, unique sound. Danny Filth, you know, the mastermind behind the band that's held it together all these years. He's the only constant member since the beginning. Had a lot of really great guitar players, great musicians in the band. You know, whoever he has in the band, it's like top tier musicianship. Some of these albums I listed are some of my favorites of all time. I did lists on like best album from each year and stuff. And 96, Dusk and Her Embrace was my number 1. 98, Cruelty and the Beast was my number 1. And 2000, Midian was my number 1. So big fan of Cradle of Filth. That's a band I still haven't seen in concert that I really freaking need to, because I love them. They're one of my favorite bands of all time, definitely in the top 10. And they're number 1 here for me for my favorite bands, starting with the letter C. Now, a couple of honorables I'll go through before we finish up here. You know, of course, Cannibal Corpse. I've never been the biggest fan ever. I do like some of their stuff, just for me, not in my top 10. Cirith Gorgor, cool black metal band that's pretty underrated. Cloak, another blackish metal band, Black and Roll. Cruel Force, Cobra Spell, and Chariots were some of the other bands I wanted to give a little honorable mention to, but a lot of great ones. Of course, I didn't get to everything, so in the comments, let me know what are your top 10 favorite metal bands, what hard rock and metal we can do here, starting with the letter C, and as usual, y'all, thank you for watching.